Hello, Mr. Harper.
Hello, how are you doing?
How was that intro?
That's pretty cool.
Happy Veterans Day
already.
Yeah, happy Veterans Day.
Yep. Happy Veterans
To
Day.
all those
Veterans
vets
Day
out there.
yesterday. Yep. Was you in the military?
I was not, but my dad was a Vietnam vet, and unfortunately we lost him. Tomorrow will be 14 years, and he died of a cancer-related Agent Orange incident. So unfortunately, I was one of the ones that lost somebody because of the war. So we definitely are thinking about business, especially around my house.
Yeah, we appreciate his service. Gary, you have a little list there you'd like to run through all the veterans?
I do. We posted a deal about Veterans Day and our racers, our local racers that are veterans and have served, and didn't get as many as I'd hoped for, but we got about 5. So we want to recognize the name, the branch they served, the years, and what kind of racing they do or did. So I'll start with me. I served in the U.S. Navy from 1990 to 1992. That was in the Operation Desert Shield, Desert Storm area time frame, and I'm a heads-up small tire racer. This gentleman, I'm going to get his last name probably wrong, but it's Steve. I don't know if it's Baker or Becker. It's not Becker like B-E-C-K. It's B-A-E-C-K-E-R. I'm not sure the correct pronunciation of that, but he served in the Air Force in the 70s, and he races pro or had raced pro. Our friend Ray Burns from Hutch, he was in the Army National Guard from 87 to 93. He races pro class, and he lately, for the past few years, he's been doing mostly drag and drive stuff, drag week, Rocky Mountain Race Week, that kind of stuff. He has a black Cougar. He's been testing down at MAD before with his Cougar and stuff. So shout out to Ray. Kenneth Alt, everybody knows Kenneth. He's worked at Mid America Dragway, and he reached out and he spent time in the U.S. Army from 2002 to 2013. That includes Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation, I wrote what I write here, Operation New Dawn, I believe it was. I got crappy handwriting there. And this last one I got, he's not a local racer. He's a friend of mine through the Drag Week, Drag and Drives community stuff. He chimed in, Steve Hefner. He served in the U.S. Navy from 1986 to 1997. He's a heads-up small tire racer / drag and drive, and he currently has a small tire. I think it's a Cutlass being built down by Blake Hughes at 417 Motorsports, getting his thing in shape, ready to race soon. So shout out to all those veteran racers, and thanks for everything that they do and have done, and all veterans, period, all of them.
So, yeah, we thank them for their service. Appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Great job there, Gary.
The time of it was just right. Veterans Day yesterday, and we're doing this today. So what a cool way to kick that off.
Yeah, great idea. Great idea. And so just starting with this, so with the 36 people we have on, we got a lot of, comments and people asking us, hey, can we bring on Gary Harper and the new track manager at the Mid America Dragway? And we've got a lot of, interest in that. So we reached out to Gary, and we want to say thank you for coming, first of all, because we know you're on vacation in California. So hopefully the weather's a little better there. It actually has been pretty nice here, but thanks for taking this time to step away from the beach and, kind of just hang out with us for a little bit. And so just so the people on know, what we're going to do is Gary Putnam and I have a few questions for Harper, and we're going to kind of work through his journey. But at the same time, we want this to be a Q&A session. So we're going to open it up for Q&As because everybody wants to know about, things that are happening at Mid America. So hopefully that sounds good. Does that sound good, Harper?
Absolutely. I'm all in.
All right. Gary Putnam, you want to start with the first question?
Well, do we want to start with the question or hit some of Harper's back history, how he started,
the question off your sheet,
how he got into cars? So my deal I wrote down is your back history. You give us a little touch of it in a message, and you didn't start in drag racing, I don't think, from what I understood from what you told us. Where did the car bug hit you in racing?
Well, the car bug started because of my parents. My mom and my dad met street racing in downtown San Jose in the 60s.
Awesome.
So is that awesome or what? Mom had a 409 4-speed Impala, and my dad had a 62 413 Max Wedge Savoy. So I was probably more of a Chrysler guy than a Chevy guy, but my father worked at a Chrysler dealership for a lot of years prior to building race cars. So he started doing drag racing in the 70s. There's pictures of me dragging around an air tank at the racetrack at 3-4 years old.
Nice.
And can you still hear
me? You froze up, I think. Are you there?
I know, we're coming back. I'm back now. You good? How about now?
You're still froze up.
Gotta love modern technology.
Blame it on California. We can hear you. There you are.
We got you now.
Okay. Now,
as long as they can hear you.
As long as you can hear me. I'm not that pretty to look at, I promise. So my dad used to until 1980. In 1980, I got into quarter midget racing. Of course, there was no junior dragsters back then. We raced quarter midgets until 1989. I officially ran my last quarter midget race in 1990. Started drag racing in 1988, high school racing, like most of the kids do that have parents that drag race. I ran high school. I ran numerous classes since getting out of high school. We did a class in California called Super Modified, which was just like super. That was an 1190 index. We did a bit of that. We did some super street stuff.
You're locked up again.
California.
Come on, Gary. You're completely froze up, Harper. It comes back.
Yeah.
Well, we can. We got 37 watching. Ray Burns, Cameron Marsoff is watching. Brian Gilchrist, Clifford Bannister, Brandon Funestel, Troy Aves, Josh Maddox.
You lost him.
I'm gonna have to. I better send that again.
Invite.
Yep. Hang tight.
Yeah.
Little technical issue. I'll resend that invite. Hang tight.
Well, Gary's doing that. Bruce Volper, thank you for your service there. I see you're a vet. Appreciate that.
I sent him an invite again. See if we can. Yeah, Troy, Josh, Keith, Randy Schulte, Devin Brown.
Is that Mr. Brown?
That is the belt guy.
Mr. Devin Brown?
Mr. Devin Brown.
Heavy on the Mr.
Yep. Brandon Ash, Mid America Dragway is watching. There he is. He's coming back. Mr. Harper.
There he is.
Are we there? Complete reboot and start over.
There you are. It's all good.
Okay. So anyway,
He's like a robot. If you can get his audio on without video.
Yeah, if we could turn his camera off, sometimes the audio works better.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna try to do. Or I can call in to you guys.
What did they say?
I don't think we know how to do that.
I got you. Hang on.
What did they say about the audio just now?
Was the audio working at least?
You were like a robot.
It's choppy.
It's just choppy.
Okay,
Okay.
hold on.
It's choppy, and sometimes when you turn the camera off, it'll free up some bandwidth for the video. You know, if we can try that, I don't know if it's possible.
Yeah, try it.
Yeah.
Do I do it?
Hang on.
Hold on.
Let's figure this part out.
We might learn something today.
Mama to the
Oh, look
rescue.
there.
All right.
Okay.
Look at that.
Now,
Yeah,
He can hear you.
do
Very
you
good.
at least got okay? So as long as you got the audio, I'm good.
Yep.
Um,
Clarity.
Okay. So basically, I started racing stock eliminator, which is kind of on a small tire. It's a 9-inch radial tire class. A whole bunch of restrictions on what we can do, but it's definitely a performance-based class. Did that for a lot of years. We did that up until 2007. And I moved to national events, all that kind of stuff.
Are you there, Harper?
I'm here, yeah.
Just,
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah, you got.
I'm just,
ask them if he can hear you.
yeah. You guys, you're blanking out, and it's because I can't understand how I can't get Wi-Fi to work, but it's just not working. Anyway, so we basically moved on. I've managed to rack up some trophies and some track championships, and so that part's been a lot of fun, and it's allowed me to get a real good read on racetracks and people and things that we deal with on a regular basis. I never once considered to be a track manager until I spent a year in the Middle East with Steve Queen and Rod Fuller, and decided when I came home that I was going to try to dabble in it, and did it, liked it. And so now for the last 7 years, it's what we've done for a living. And it's pretty cool. I went to Dragway 42, spent some time there, spent some time in Ottawa. That's how we met Chris and his family, and decided to come down here and come to work.
Oh, that's great. That's
Cool.
great. And so just talk about that, first transformation. You're at the track, the first time you're running a track, you're the first track manager where you're at, and just some like lessons learned and how that went and that sort of thing, running that first year out, if you will, at that first racetrack.
Well, I actually started out helping at Pueblo Motorsports Park. We were kind of listed as the track manager, but there was a management team. And so I was kind of in charge of the actual day-to-day event stuff. And I still had a full-time job, and I did that, but it was with racers that I'd been racing with for years. So I really didn't have Jay Gilman run the track for years, and then Jay left, and now he's currently at 131 Michigan. And so I just brought back some of the stuff that he was doing when he was successful, and the racers seemed to like it, and it went really well. And so we said, well, that's what we're going to do from here on out. And we've taken the opportunity to meet a lot of people. Kurt Johnson had come out to the track after I had departed from Pueblo and to work for the day. I met up with him when we went to dinner. This place in Ohio that you perfect for. So I know
Dang. I think we lost him.
I'm
You Do you have us, Harper? Are you there?
I'm just wondering if I'm butchering up your guys' show so bad that we need to try to do this on a different night when I got a different Wi-Fi situation. We're
gonna try switching to the phone.
We're switching as fast as we can. She's gonna try to put me on the actual cell phone and versus trying to go through the computer, see if that does any different.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not the man. You guys ought to know by now. I am not the technical guy when it comes to this
Hey,
stuff.
We're not either.
That's all right.
The smoke is rolling out of her ears trying to figure out how to make all this work.
Hey, that's part of being live and raw. That's all good.
Yeah.
And like you said, Harper, if we can't get it working, we can always reschedule when you guys get back to town. You're the one that, stepped out and wanted to, you're on vacation. You know what I mean? You're helping us out here.
Oh,
you want to bring him in, Gary?
Hey.
Here. Can you hold it like that? They can see you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Are you there? Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. How we doing now? No,
keep.
Hang on.
Hey, quit touching things. You don't know what to do on the phone.
Slap his hands.
There you go. She's got to slap me. Okay, how about now? Are we there? It's got a thing that's saying that the volume is down. That's why I was. See how they can say.
Oh.
Oh, this is great.
Oh, so they're completely gone. I will have to. Don't touch that. Let's see.
I love it. Oh, you gotta love technology, and everybody that's on right now, we're doing the best we can, and if we can't get it going with them, we can just reschedule it till next Sunday. Just kind of funny, they're on their vacation. They we just lined up for this date, so it's I think they're at Harper's mom's house right now.
We can blame it on California.
Exactly, we'll blame it on California. Yeah, all the electricity. Yeah.
I seen while we're. Oh, add this. I guess I need to do this. Hello. Are you there, Harper?
Oh.
You should be there, no problem.
How about now?
Yes, sir.
Any chance?
Yes, sir.
Are you there? Houston.
Houston, hello.
Wichita.
Houston, hello.
Come in, Wichita.
Does he need to turn the volume down on his phone?
Need to turn the volume down on his phone.
Try not to.
Okay, how about that?
Yes.
I'll just call him and bail out of it. Hand me my phone.
Can you hear us?
Well, I turned off all your internet.
Just tell him sorry, guys.
That's okay.
We can hear you guys.
They can hear me.
Okay, you can hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Hang on. I'm trying to work her phone. I have no idea how to do that. Okay, we good now?
Loud and clear.
We hear you.
Loud and clear.
Okay. Where were we for the 12th time? Okay, so we went to Dragway 42. Dragway 42 in Ohio has some of the most cutthroat racers in the country, some of the best racers in the country, and some of the biggest crybabies in the country. And I won't mention any names, but it was a rough go for a while. But we had an opportunity to run about 280 days a year with all the testing and different things that we did, and it gave us a really good lesson on track prep in the fact that we ran in high heat, cold temperatures, a lot of humidity, dew in the air, dry conditions, you name it, we had it. So it was kind of a trial by fire, and we probably screwed up a lot of stuff that first year, but fortunately the racers were good enough to realize I was trying, and they stayed with it, and I got a lot of help from guys in the business. And so I pretty much feel like I'm confident now that I can do just about anything during any of the conditions, but it definitely gets a little shaky at times when you're not quite sure, how late we're going to end up running or those kinds of things, but we got a pretty good handle on it.
No, that's good. Were you running the bracket programs, the heads up, juniors,
all of it. We ran about 400 cars on our bracket race days. We had a heads up program with some small tire stuff. We were doing a little bit of radial stuff, but not a lot. We were doing a lot of they had a group of fast, like quick 16 dragsters and quick 16 door cars. They called them the Outlaw 660s. That's where we learned how to prep with wheel speed and kind of what the big tire cars needed. And then trying to run those guys the same day that we're running radial cars becomes a nightmare, but we figured it out and we got through it. And so that's why we're pretty confident we can still do that today. So, and then we did a lot of the index racing that we do here with four heads up index classes. So pretty much the same kind of format that we're doing here. And then when we went to Iowa, same thing, except for we didn't do any radial stuff. We pretty much did the bracket program, but most of the small tire racing up there was no prep. I would do a light prep because it kind of bugged me to do the no prep thing. And so we did some, some good prep, but not crazy, just basically a bracket track and let them guys tune to it. And then, but now the gloves are off. We're in radial country, so we're gonna see what we can do down here.
Yeah, that sounds good. Sounds good. I also saw doing a little research on you. It looks like you were overseas in July for you. What were you doing over there?
Yeah, I ran. I helped. So in 2010, we got hired. Yaz Marina Circuit, the F1 track, had a top fuel car, and many of you guys remember Rod Fuller drove the top fuel car for them. And Rod called me and asked me to come over and help them with the driving school. They had a pretty big list of things that they needed done. They needed somebody that could help run the events, somebody who could work on the car, somebody who could teach the drivers in the driving school and basically oversee the driving school. And at the time, I was pretty qualified. So I went over there to help them. Myself, Steve Queen, Rod Fuller. We were the only Americans. We ran it for a year and everything was rolling real smooth. And then they walked in one day and said, we're cutting the program and here's a severance package and y'all going home. So it was a great experience. I got to see the richest of the rich and the poorest of the poor, and they live right across the street from each other, unfortunately. So it was definitely an eye-opening experience, but it definitely made me want to pursue the drag racing as a profession versus just a hobby.
Yeah, I understand that. Getting some feedback there.
Yeah.
Putnam, what do you have on your list?
When we was at one of the, I forget which heads up race it was in October. I guess I do know it was the one where Devin Brown. And I overheard you talking with Devin about Kurt Johnson. And I was curious, Kurt Johnson at Total Venue Concepts, how your relationship with him, is that where that came together? Was overseas or was it here in the States?
I was actually here in the States, and so Kurt and I had gone back years just in knowing each other and being at the racetrack. And when he took over the VP dealership for the training for how to run the VP traction compounds, he had come out to Pueblo and was trying to show them how to use the product after I had quit. And I went over and talked to him and I said, hey, and we kind of go, hey buddy, how you been? Been a long time. Hey, before you leave here, we need to go to dinner. So I said, okay. So we went to dinner. We talked for a couple hours and kind of just talked about some things. And basically he was the one that recommended me for the job in Dragway 42. He knew the owner, Ron Matcham, and they had kind of a past, and Ron was constantly calling, Kurt and asking him for help. And Kurt just said, hey, look, I got a guy that can come out there and can take care of your racetrack for you and help you out. And I think that you two will at least tolerate each other long enough to make it work. And so that's where that got going. And then so I've worked with Kurt for over the years. You know, I've called him up. He's always been a good backup guy to talk to and run through things. And you know, it's a good deal. So we've stayed friends. He's come and ground the racetracks for us before. He did the track up in Ottawa, and I'll tell you what, when they get done doing a profile, which is taking all the high spots off, and then he comes back in with his equipment and cleans them up and basically gives it a surface that'll allow the concrete to take rubber. It's an amazing finish when it's done. And so, and he's a sharp guy, and he learned the same way I've learned, which is you try it, and if it don't work, well, you try it again, or you keep working at it. And so a lot of the stuff that he's learned over the years definitely has kind of went into the fold. Tyler Crossnow, that does all the stuff for the other association, he learned a lot from Kurt. I actually learned a lot from Larry Crisp that runs Bandimere Speedway. Larry came over when he was overseas. He came over to do track prep for the couple of top fuel races that we had over there. And I hung around him for a couple of days and just grabbed as much information as I possibly could. And because we had a working relationship with the Bandimere family and I'd raced there for years, anytime I had a question, I could always call Larry. So that's kind of how that whole deal got started.
Cool. Oh, that's great. That's great. That's great. So
hey, hang on one second. Hang on.
Hang on one second.
The feedback, is that coming from Harper's phone, like the volume on his phone?
It could be.
It could be. Yeah. I don't have anything on here other than the phone.
Other than volume.
Other than turn that down.
Turn the volume down. You won't be able to hear
it, right? Is that any better?
Test.
What?
Test. Yeah, that's it.
Test. Is that any better?
Yeah, that's it.
Perfect.
Hang on.
Okay.
Is it good?
What else we got?
Is it good?
I can hear you guys just fine.
Yeah, you're good and crisp also. You're sounding good. See, it's behind.
Did your feedback issue go away?
It's lower.
Okay.
So just talking about your past, like we were with.
So anyways.
Just talking about your past, like we were with racing and management.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Your
So
top
what do you think your top takeaway?
Can you hear me, Harper?
Yeah. What was that?
Just saying, with your track management in the past, and then you're going to be making your way to Kansas, to Arc City. What do you think some of your takeaways from your track management you brought in with kind of making that transition to Mid America? I remember myself seeing you at the last Heads Up race in 2022. Both Harpers were there, walking around and meet and greets and that sort of thing.
Oh, hey, gone. That feedback was on his end, wasn't it?
Yeah. I don't know if it was through their speaker or if it was the volume.
Yeah, when he had video and audio, it sounded good. But when his video went away, it was just audio. His audio was awesome, but then our feedback started coming in the background there.
Right. When we spoke, it echoed.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to get him now to Arc City. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Let me send this again. Sing something for us, Rodney. Sing us a song.
You don't hear me singing.
Okay. There, I resent
for the 38 people that are on right now. When we get the Harpers back on, what we want to do is go to this Q&A session. So I know they're having audio trouble there on their end and video, but as soon as we have them back on, so if anything, we have a whole chat room over here that we can see to the right, and anything that you want to ask them, we can start firing them away. that's what we kind of want to do on the back half of this session as well, because we have some questions about, this year, 2023, and how it went. And then also we also want to ask them about the future. I know they want to bring a lot of good things to the track. So,
Yep. And let me
Tiffany,
Rodney, tell everybody how great. Oh, let me toss out here real quick. Brandon Westmoreland, he was a veteran. And,
very cool.
And the post here, I'll just put it up there. Brandon Westmoreland served 6 years and 2 tours in the Army. Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you for your service, Brandon. That's awesome.
I thought
That's
I
very
seen
awesome.
somebody else here. This gentleman, Bruce Fulper. I'm a vet. I don't know who he is, but thank you. Okay, I see there's a box here for Harper. Let's try this.
Did you see what Shell and Kurt put?
We did.
Yeah.
I don't have any. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Try us now.
You're loud and clear here.
I'm sorry. I don't have your.
It went. I don't got any buttons, and the thing went completely blank again. We're trying to figure out if I need to go outside.
Just
Yeah.
do as much as you
Up on the
can.
roof?
Just continue.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Gary's still working on it. Gary's still working on another plan. I'm not sure what she's working on, but she's
Answer the questions.
so.
Move forward.
Anyway.
Harper, can you hear me? So let's just talk about you coming to Arc City. You were at the last race in 2022, and then you made your way to Arc City in 2023. Let's just talk about that, how the year went, things you first saw when you first came in, that sort of thing.
Well, we saw there was apparently we were there for Danny Davis's race at the end of the season last year, and using the Renegade glue, so we knew right away that we were going to have to switch to PJ for that stuff to work right. I knew that wasn't going to be a real good scenario. The PJ is just a lot better for radial race, and turns out the PJ was changes that we made. The other thing too is I noticed that we were going to need some different equipment. So I reached out to Chris, and we started making plans to buy the track scrubber and the bigger track. It allowed us to do the job a lot simpler. I still got you?
Yeah, still good.
Yep.
Yeah, still good.
Okay. All right.
You still got. I can hear you.
So it's been good. We've been kind of rolling along. There were a lot of changes that we tried to make things bigger and better, and we felt like that it was in the right direction, but Chris felt like it was stagnant and it needed to move forward. So we tried some stuff. We tried to reach out and get a few things to where they were, better suited for the type of racing that's going on right now. We all know in the bracket racing world, the big money race is king. So that, it's hard to keep guys home for a local race when the local races typically don't pay any money. So we were trying to reach out and get a little more payout there and get a few more guys interested. But with that comes the competition level goes up. So some of the guys that, might have been coming out before, now they don't want to come out because they don't feel like they got a chance, because now all of a sudden there's all these big hitters there. So it's always a catch-22. The bigger the sharks come, and then the guys that aren't sharks stay home. It's the same problem with the small tire stuff. If you build a totally killer racetrack and you have a Devin Brown type guy that shows up at your track every week, and if you're not willing to keep fighting and try to get faster and try to get better, the one guy ends up chasing 4 or 5 of the other guys that were now 470 cars and didn't feel like they had a shot at all. They start wanting to, well, is there a B field? Is there a Conci race? Is there a something else? And the bottom line is we're all racers. You should keep trying to strive to go faster. So, I just try to provide the surface that'll be consistent, that will allow guys the ability to show up week in and week out, try something. If they're going in the right direction, see an improvement. If they're not going in the right direction, they're going to know it right away. So that's what my goal is. We can we can get a lot of things on a sticky racetrack. Certain conditions, man, we can light that thing up and really make it ultra sticky. But the problem is you probably can't keep it that way.
Yeah.
So, we're looking at, if the track conditions are only going to warrant a 85% glue so that you can maintain that level of sticky throughout the day, then that's what you get. We're trying to avoid the track that's really good in qualifying and terrible during elimination rounds, because that's hard to deal with. And I had seen that not only at Arc City, but I'd seen it at other racetracks. They light it up for qualifying and they kind of quit working on it, and then the track tends to fade away as the night goes on. And I like to do it the other way. I like to have qualifying be good and solid, and then I like guys feeling like that they can lean on it and be 300 or 400s better every lap, so that by the time the evening rolls around, now they're having their best runs of the evening is in the final, when they can really lean on it and trust the car is going to do what it needs to do.
Absolutely. And just a consistent racetrack is all what we're looking for here, right? In qualifying or eliminations for it go away. That's I hear that's the number one complaint as well. But just looking, anything else you want to talk about from 2023? And then we can talk about what you have planned for 2024 after that.
Well, we're constantly, we've made some improvements with the shutdown area with those buckets of that magical sealer stuff. We've been able to secure some more of that. We had Larry Barnes Company reach out to us to help us get some more of that stuff, and so that part's been taken care of. We own the stuff. We just need to go get it picked up, and I got to obviously get home from my stay out in California to get it fixed. We're working on plans for new lighting for the racetrack.
Nice.
And we're working on getting some of the pit areas taken care of. Depending on how far the buckets go with the return road and the rest of the racetrack will determine how much we can get done in the pit area. We're always looking for help there to get some support, get some people that say, hey, I'll pitch in some more. We've got some of those spots are beyond what them patch designs can handle. And some of them are not. Some of them are just a matter of moving some rocks around, vacuuming them out, power washing them out, letting them dry, and then pouring that stuff in. So, if anybody decides that they got some time on their hands, first part of the spring, and they want to come help, definitely reach out to us, and we'll do that. We did have a few racers that have brought some financial support to us and said, hey, help us out, get some of this stuff. And they've said, hey, get a few of these buckets and let's just keep moving forward. So right now we're looking pretty good. We got way more patch stuff than we got time to put in. So till I run out of patch stuff, we're probably going to be pretty busy there.
Sure. Well, and I saw that patch stuff on the concrete. At first, I didn't know what it was until you explained it to me. But it looks like it works really well there too. So that's awesome.
Well, we've been waiting to see. We've talked to people that said that it was very good in cold weather, that they had been using it, in places that had gotten below, 40 below, and we ain't getting 40 below. So it should be okay. And it's worked out very well at Creekstone at the plant. They've been driving 18-wheelers over it and not having any problems. So as long as we're not 18-wheeler racing, we're probably in good shape.
Yeah.
Is it like a concrete epoxy of some sort? Is that what it is?
Well, I wouldn't call it an epoxy. Typically epoxies are as a two-part. It's got a hardener and then a base. This stuff is like a powder that has some fiber in it. It definitely looks like concrete. It has a consistency of concrete, but there's no rocks. You simply add water and mix the consistency, and the more water you add to it, the thinner it gets, the easier it pours, and it's kind of self-leveling. We fixed a ton of those spots in the shutdown area, and it made a dramatic difference. Now our plan is to get all of them in. Then I'm going to go rent a grinder, if you will, to flatten out some of the edges and really clean them up. And when we get done, it'll be like we've resurfaced the whole top end, which will allow us to go, do some more quarter-mile stuff down the road. And it'll also allow us to do a drag and drive event if it comes up, because those guys are all wanting to do quarter-mile stuff, and or just not tearing up race cars. I mean, you get more damage done in the shutdown area than you do on the racetrack, you got a problem.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Agree with that. So you said drag and drive. Can you just talk about 2024? What kind of cars you want to see, throughout the whole, left all the way to the right?
Well, there's a combination of everything. We're obviously going to bracket race. That's my background. That's what pays the bills 99% of the time. That's where we get a lot of the local support. We do want to do our radial racing. We feel like that, with you guys and the locals that have reached out to us and that have come and supported this thing year after year, that there's definitely a need for that. We definitely want to get the guys from Missouri over here. We got to give them a reason to come over here. We need a well-lit racetrack that's not bumpy, that's not going to tear their cars up, and that they can pour the wick to it and know that the track's going to hold and do what it's supposed to do. We are looking to do some of the no prep stuff. I'm not opposed to that. We've just had to get our feet wet and do what we do best before we reach into a bag and pull out some tricks that I don't know all the details. But I do know the people that are really, really good at that stuff, and I've been working with them. We have reached out to Nick Robertson and Callie Nate, and my go-to has always been Joey Heichel, because I dealt with Joey for years up in Iowa, and he puts on a hell of a show, 2 or 3 of them a year. So they got the backing, they've got the knowledge, and they know what needs to happen. They know what classes work. So we're definitely going to be looking at that route. I'm not opposed to a drag and drive event. We did reach out to Matt Frost. I've yet to get anything back on their end. We're going to pursue it a little bit more. There's drag and drive events popping up all over everywhere. We definitely would be interested in being available. That's another thing that, was tough on Chris before, because, he's got a Monday through Friday, or it's Tuesday through Saturday gig. So, he couldn't be available to do those kinds of things, where now we can. That's something we want to look at. We want to do a lot more testing this year. Now that guys have been out, tested, seen what kind of track they got for the money, now they're not opposed to spending that money and getting a few guys gathered up together, and we'll put a great racetrack together for them so they can actually learn something. We definitely we do some of that stuff. Our Friday night program, boy, did we just never could get that thing rolling. We tried to get the guys that used to go to Kid and just, roll up and just, make time runs for hours on end, just couldn't get them to drive south. So our schedule next year is not going to have too many of those. We may pick one a month. We may even move it to a Saturday. When we had the Saturday test and tunes, they seem to do better. But that's not a Saturday test and tune where you're going to want to bring a radio car out, because the track prep's just not there. So we got to make sure that we're not necessarily testing during an event either. Even on the small tire side, when you offer testing during a small tire radial event, now you got a guy that probably should be paying the $200 to get into the radial class to race on the radial prep track, wants to come out and make laps for $40. And he still wants you to have the same racetrack for him. And I love it when they come walking up to me and go, well, can I just test after the radial cars run? It's like, no, you're going to run at the end of the test and tune deal like everybody else, because if you're going to pay for that radial prep, then you need to buy into the class. And I mean, that's the fear factor. They're not going to get better if they don't just keep swinging at the fence. And unfortunately, that's the downside to, going fast and heads up racing is is when the racetrack is killer, it's gonna lean towards the guy that's got the right tune-up. But you're only gonna get that tune-up if you keep swinging. So we definitely want to do a little bit of everything next year. We're still gonna have our juniors, of course, and we're looking at maybe doing a big junior race. It's so many things that are out there, and it's all financially driven. Unfortunately, this is an expensive sport, and it's the costs have gone up for running a car, and trust me, the costs have gone up for running an event, from the insurance to, people they come in the gate, just for instance, they come in the gate and they notice the grass is all mowed and everything is swept and everything's clean. What they don't realize is that we paid somebody 30 or 40 hours during the week to make sure all that happened. Plus we bought $100 worth of gas to run in equipment and mowers and different things. So there's just a lot of costs involved. And so we're up for anything. If we got somebody that wants to do some private stuff or do a track rental, or they want to put on a race of their own, get in touch with us, let us know.
There's still insurance
And
involved.
we know we got to deal with the insurance company, so there's always that side of it. So
Sure.
but we're open. We're already starting to work on the schedule. We're definitely we want to do the no prep stuff. We want to do the radial stuff. We want to do the bracket stuff. We're going to do 2 big bracket races. We'll do our Labor Day deal exactly the way we did the Labor Day deal before. We're looking at doing one in April that will be exactly the same format with multiple colors and double opportunities to buy in.
You might
and,
address the truck class that people are asking for.
And that's that's the other. We briefly, you guys had gotten into one of your it was either a pre-race or a post-race interview live feed that you guys did, and there was a big discussion about a truck class.
Yes.
Somebody brings that money to the table, we're all in, because we are interested now. Something that I probably didn't mention is I didn't mention, but I ran a stock eliminator pickup truck for years, so I'm a truck guy by heart. So we like the trucks. We're definitely willing to do it, but you got to come to me, because we got to come up with some parameters, and then we can move forward with the class, and maybe it becomes something that we don't do on a regular basis. We only do it once a year till we get a feel for it, or we do it multiple times if we got the sponsorship for it. We also talked about doing a point series, and may not be a big payout at the end of the year, but to be able to get a trophy at the banquet and a jacket that states that I won the points for small tire or these index classes. Those are all cool things to hang your hat on. I mean, at the end of the year, it's always nice to have a little something. The money is great, but let's face it, the money's spent long before you ever get the money. The trophy you got forever.
Right. Agree. I'd like to hear that. I'd like to hear about the no prep, and like to hear about the drag and drive and the points. Just talking for myself for a second, your track prep, every place I went to this year, I can put it up there with everywhere else I went. So I appreciate that.
And the track prep, like, we're radial guys, me and Rodney, and so Devin come and did his thing, and then it was last week or 2 weeks ago, Craven Moore down in Ozark goes 4:10. So the handful of local tracks around here, Mad Ozark isn't local, but it's in this little region we're in. Tulsa and Noble, they don't really have. I don't know if they get real heavy on radial track prep like we had seen at Mad, but them got them hitters like Justin Heckman, Craven, Devin, them guys with them caliber of cars. They're looking to go that 399. You want your track to be the first one to hold that 399, I bet.
Oh, absolutely, and I'm working on a 399 club marketing partner that will allow us to do something similar to what your guys' belt was. That if you can get into the 390s, end up with a little something from the racetrack, because it is a big deal. It's a threshold that few radial cars have gotten there. I mean, we know the Pro 275 guys, but they're typically dealing with a lighter race car, and everywhere they go, they're on premium weather. I mean, we should have had premium weather for our last race, and it got a DA of 3,500. Who figured? But
Right.
that's just the way the cookie crumbles. I mean, that's just the way that goes. One of the other things we are working on, we're going to there's 3 bumps in the left lane and 2 bumps in the right lane, and we're going to work on getting those bumps out this off season. Fortunately for us, there are spots where the track is cracked and it's tried to just barely heave up a little bit. So they're high spots. So the high spots can be cut down without a problem. Fortunately, we don't really have any low spots, so we can take care of that. That's going to help the motorcycle guys out. I mean, we ain't even talked about the motorcycle heads up guys, because it's not really in your guys' wheelhouse. But I can tell you, your personal best, Rodney. Several motorcycles have been there this year at MAD. So, and that's amazing to do. We're talking 30s and 40s, 440s, 430s on 2 wheels. There's no way you could get me to do that deal.
No way.
But yeah, so they're looking they would love to get, some recognition on some of their stuff. And we've had a lot of personal bests there. And they're excited about what's going to happen too. So we're definitely pushing forward. We get some of them bumps out. The bumps really hurt the bikes. It doesn't help the cars by no means, but it really hurts the bikes. If I can get them bumps out, we're going to turn a whole bunch of guys into the 420 club at the old MAD racetrack. So it'll be pretty good.
Oh, that's great. I'd love to hear that. So moving forward, in a couple Saturdays, we got a banquet coming up.
Yes, sir. December 2nd. We're looking for people that are coming to RSVP with Gary, with Girl Gary, because it's too tough for us. We're trying to get a read on the room as far as how many people are coming. We got plenty of space. You got to click on the event and say that you're going. You can't just tell Facebook, yes, we're going. You got to actually click on the deal. Hey, hang on a second.
I'm sorry. And then inside the event, if you would please post your name and how many are coming in your group. I believe, Gary Putnam, you've already done that. You said
Yes.
2. I would appreciate it if everybody could do that. Next week, I have to turn those numbers into Ryan Curran so that he can smoke all the meat. We'll have, I can't remember if it's brisket or pork, pulled pork, but he's going to take care of that for us. And then if you look inside the event, it'll also tell you, depending upon your race group, what kind of side dish you should bring. It's also BYOB.
Oh, good. Thank
Cool.
you, man. Good update.
Easy instructions.
Yeah, exactly. So it's all laid out there. So you guys can figure out what's what and who's who, and we're going to have a good time. There's going to be some announcements made there that I'm sure will be great for everybody. We always like crowning champions. That's always a fun deal. We are trying to, I don't want to say add some class to the event, because last year's event was great. I didn't have any problems with the way things were done last year. It's not that at all. We're just looking to do a little bit bigger venue, so we have a little more room, a little better sound system. There's going to be some video stuff going on that, we're going to try to get with Tracy and such, to get some, pictures floating through the deal. We do have a few fun awards that Gary and I have done every year. We've always done a most photogenic, and we always do basically we pick one racer that's, kind of gone above and beyond to help the racetrack. And so there's a few little side deals there that are going to be done. We've got jackets already picked out, trophies already picked out. We've gone to a little bit different trophy setup for the banquet. It's going to be a cool time. And like I said, we're going to be able to unveil some of those new, some of the things that we're going to be doing. We're going to have some more pictures of it and stuff before the banquet. So be cool. Be a good time.
I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great time. It sounds like Gary's already going, so I'll make sure I do that as well.
Yep. So get on it.
Yeah. So anything else you want to talk about? Looking forward, look ahead, any kind of other things you want to bring up? You have, the floor is yours.
Well, no, not really. I mean, it's it's one of those deals where, we had a drivers meeting at that last small tire event, and I just basically said, hey, we're not the type that are going to bite you. We will talk through anything. I feel like that we're pretty approachable. I do have a set of ways of doing things. I don't run the racetrack by committee. I feel like you get yourself in a jam when you do that, but that doesn't mean that we're not willing to sit down and discuss it. We've talked about, the index classes, and do there need to be some adjustments to some of the indexes? There's always room to talk. So my phone is blasted everywhere. The wife's phone number is out there. She's easy to get a hold of, and actually pretty easy to get along with, as long as you follow directions. So you have to realize that in this business, we literally handle 30 calls a day during race season. And the ones that drive you crazy are the ones that the guy calls and he never even bothered to try to find out the information. And then when you try to tell them what's going on, then they want to argue and say, well, but that's not what and it's like, hey, no, we're telling you what the deal is. So, it's tough. That's just life. Everybody's gotten into the telephone and the Facebook, and those things are great ways to communicate, and look on your phone and get the information you need. But by all means, if you got a question or you got something you want to run by somebody, call us. The answer is 99% of the time going to be yes. There's probably going to be a workaround. And I know at the beginning of the year, we didn't do that. We didn't get the workaround stuff. We were just, everybody said, this is what we're going to do. And we were trying to get people to call us so that we could say there was a workaround, and we never got to that conversation. So and we're not going to post things that aren't legit or absolutely over 100% over the board. So when we got something that needs to get done, just call us and we'll see what we can do, work it out.
Okay.
Other than that, I take the opportunity to thank the Maybrier family, Chris and Jasmine and Jim and his wife, for allowing us to come down here and giving us the tools that we need. Not once have I ever gone into his office, no matter how much money I thought we lost, and had him be upset. He just looks at me and smiles and says, we'll get them next time. And as the year went on, we did better each event. Part of the small tire stuff, credit to you guys. I mean, you put the challenge out there for guys to come and support it and run us out of food, and you did. And that proved right there that what you guys are doing is a positive. Keep it going. I'll do anything I can to try to help it. Hopefully, like I said, this thing didn't get butchered too bad, but we'll be able to look back on it and say, we can always make improvements, and this was one of them. So next time I'll be in studio.
Do they have any questions?
Do you guys have anything? Do you have anything pressing, or is anything anybody's come up with a question or wanted to run by us?
Yeah, so I got that. I want to show, if you can see the screen, Harper, I want to show some love here that Nick Roberts put out there. So he's wanting some no prep. So I like that. And then also we got a question right here I want to show. So can you read this, Harper?
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, they have a point series.
Well, they have a point series for index classes next year.
Yes, if I do something for small tire, we'll do something for index. And like I said, there's probably not going to be a ton of money in it. It's going to be mostly for trophy and for a jacket and that kind of stuff. But if we could get some of those marketing partners that have helped us in the past, that they want to be attached to a certain class, we would definitely take it, because then that allows us to be able to purchase that stuff.
You bet. Yeah.
Have you, sorry, Rod, have you guys started looking at the schedule, like when, and I'm going to be specific on the small tire, like what time what roughly range in the spring that the first race will be?
we're looking at small tire for April, May, and one. Basically, I'm looking at one in April, one in May, and then we'll come back again in October. Whether that be 2 events in October or one in September and then one in October. We all know what we can end up with in weather in September, but we've also had a few things that we've done that moved. The Pontiac guys have chosen to go in a different spot than they were last year, which leaves the last weekend in September open. We know that we had done the first weekend of October for small tire last year or this year, and we had a couple of conflicting schedules. So we're kind of thinking if we can stay off of that one and then maybe come back with the same weekend that we did your phone's dying. Plug it in.
Plug it in. Plug it in, hurry. Mayday.
I love it.
Surely it didn't die already.
No, you're good. We hear you.
Harper? California done beamed them up.
Yeah.
Dun, dun. Well, point series. Harper. Okay. See if I missed anything here. Barry Peter asked if a bomb went off in my garage. And I said, yeah, it sure did.
How did you tell? Oh, we lost it.
Yeah, no kidding. All right. I'll send this again. His audio has been really good.
Yeah, the last 30 minutes has gone well.
Good, solid, loud audio.
Yeah. You
Sent.
can hear Gary talking in the background.
Yeah. Yep. It sounds like their phone died.
Yeah, I think so too.
Didn't get a chance to tell him that first heads up race can't be till after we go to Texas.
I know it. We'll have to make a little call there. Hold on.
Yeah, hang on a second.
Yeah.
He sent a message, said the phone died. And it's on the charger right now. He said give him 2 minutes. So
that's fine. Well,
Rodney, you gotta entertain us.
That's fine. Just reflecting from what he's saying, though. I like what he's talking about. You know what I mean? Because we've been racing here for a while now, and we heard good things when he was coming up. You know, my buddy Mitch Brown reached out to me when he said, you know, these Harpers are good to go. And, you know, just like right here, we see something from Robin Phelps McCann, you know, talking about wishing they were at Tulsa. I mean, golly, you know, he's going to come all the way for that. And I'm glad to see that they're doing the no prep thing. I'm glad to see they're doing the drag and drive thing. I mean, those are both good things to do.
The no prep deal, like it's no secret how many cars a no prep deal will pull in, and the spectators come in and spend money. That'd be great for the track.
Yeah, and I'm a no prep fan. I don't know if I'll go race no prep, but I'm gonna go watch. I'm gonna go buy a hot dog and sit there and watch Nick Roberts do power wheelies or just, you know, whatever. People, you know, steering, you know, nose to nose back and forth. I'm a Ryan Mitchell fan. I'm a Callie Nate fan. I want to see all those cats out there, you know, trying to get down. And I love every minute of that. When they were having the no preps out here in Kidd, I was on the fence watching that stuff as well, you know. And so and everywhere you look, drag and drives are popping up now. So if they could do a drag and drive for, like, you know, Arc City and Noble and, you know, Tulsa, right around in there, maybe grab somewhere else close. Or if Kidd was open, that'd be another great one. There's 4 right there that they could do a drag and drive at, you know, and knock out a week. I mean, it'd be awesome.
And he was talking about the mixture that they was using to fix the holes in the track and all that kind of stuff and get that smoothed off. You know, Devin Brown, what was it, like 2019 when he was here? Ish 19, right? But anyway, he made the comment of how much better the shutdown was now from when the last time he was here with the silver car. Big
Oh,
difference.
yeah.
Huge difference.
Huge difference. And those guys would, and that's great feedback coming from those guys. You know what I mean? And like Chris Stewart here just said right here, we got a fan of the Dragon Drive right there. But I'm glad they're here. I think we had a great year at Arc City. I don't know the numbers exactly, but I remember during the little drivers meeting he had, I'm making something up.
Exactly.
But I remember during the little drivers meeting he had, I'm making something up.
Exactly. But I remember during the little drivers meeting he had, I'm making something up. Exactly. But I remember during the little drivers meeting.
What in the world?
Oh, I'm back.
I love it.
Well, yeah.
Are you back, Gary?
I'm back. Man, I've had more. It feels like we've had 7 major oil downs tonight. That's how much stress I got going on here. I'm sweating like an old mule just trying to figure this deal out. And this is worse. This is worse than a 5-day oil down and coolant and training fluid and everything else. But as always, we persevere. We're pulling through.
Here we
That's
are.
right. Hey, so Harper, since you were gone, we've kind of been talking a little bit about what the people on. We still got 40 people on, and they love everything you've been talking about already. They love to hear about No Prep. They love hearing about the Dragon Drive. They're excited for what you guys have done. They're excited for your energy that you have here. Here's a little shout out right here. Can you see these little comments, Harper?
No, because it's not coming through because what it is it's so small because of the way we got it on the screen.
What does he mean?
What do you need? Or just read it to me, I guess, real quick.
So Robin Phelps McCann.
Robin.
Harper and Gary are amazing. So wish they were running Tulsa. But we'll come to Mad next year again. So you got a fan there, sounds like, in the Oklahoma City area.
Oh yeah, Robin's great people. We've actually, she rents us motorhomes. She's got a motorhome that she rents, which is a great service that they offer. And we've taken it out a couple of times. We actually took that motorhome to ET finals, and it's what allowed us to cook dinner for all of the racers on our team. So yeah, shout out to Robin. She does us a good job, and we're glad. And no, I'm not going to Tulsa. I'm far enough. I'm far enough south as it is. I'm good where I'm at.
Right. So you can't see him there. Just some shout outs here from like Chris Stewart. He's talking about the Dragon Drive. I'm all about the Dragon Drive event. Another shout out here is to Barry Peter. A weekend Dragon Drive would be awesome. This Dragon Drive just blowing up everywhere. And then Kurt and Shelley Riffro, another shout out there about the Dragon Drive. So the Dragon Drive's really blowing up here. And then also we had a deal about the truck class. So Chris Wilson, which I think most people know, he's talking about that truck street class or a true street truck class. And I know we can reach out to him to make something happen with that. Because I know, I think that was the one Putnam where Ryan was talking about as well. And having a sponsor there. And I remember right, Chris Wilson, I was wanting to get in on that. So that'd be fantastic.
Yep.
Absolutely. Like I said, we're up for anything. And as far as the Dragon Drive stuff goes, man, those guys that have already competed in Dragon Drives, call your guy that's setting him up, whether that be Matt Frost through the Rocky Mountain Drag Week or any of the guys that are setting those things up. I know there's a gentleman that did a couple down south. Put us on the map with these guys. I mean, that's the big thing is we did do a Rocky Mountain Drag Week back when the track first opened. They were, let's face it, the Mad staff was way green. The event did not go as planned for Mad, and it did not go as planned for Rocky Mountain Race Week. Sometimes when an event goes south, you just get a bad taste in your mouth, and it becomes I'm not going there again. Well, I've dealt with Matt Frost in the past. I ran Pueblo when he came down. It was a very profitable deal for him. We gave him a great track back then, and we definitely love to sit down with him and work something out for another deal. I know that some of the tracks that they were running, Great Bend and Bandimere closing, kind of screwed up, one of their routes. They were working on another route. Then he said that maybe come together, and then it was falling apart. I don't know, but any of those guys that have connections, or maybe we gotta get down and dirty and create something. I'm all for it. We know that what's nice about the drag and drive stuff is when you can do it. And during the week works great for us. If we could schedule it right, I would do the start and the stop and be both ends of the weekend. Do it on a Saturday and then do it on the next weekend. But we got to get something going soon. The schedule's coming. I do have a few racetracks that are kind of working with us. We're trying to get Ardmore and us to be on opposite schedules for the bracket racing side. Obviously, nowadays we need to look at what's going on with a couple of the big races in Tulsa. We need to look at a couple of big races that are in Noble. We need to look at what's going on in Ozark. I mean, the guys at Ozark ain't playing around, but they don't do a lot of bracket racing stuff. So it's hard to stay off of every one of their small tire events when they're doing 2 a month. So that part, guys are just going to have to understand where we're at. We did reach out to Al. We'd like to get on the Titan 10-5 schedule. There was some questions whether that was going to happen again as far as the entire series. So we're fingers are crossed, hoping that those guys have good luck in finding the partnerships that they need to get their series running. We would love to do that deal too, and we've already told him, first week of May is when we had him scheduled originally, and we were still thinking about the first weekend in May. So we definitely need to look at that. One of our small tire races is probably going to be the first weekend of April, and the reason why is because the first weekend of April, Spring Fling in Las Vegas is going to take away a lot of our big bracket racing guys. So again, we have to look at not only the schedules that are around here, but we got to look at the big dollar stuff that's going across the country. Because if I get 10 of our racers that are good enough to go chase big money, they leave, those 10 racers are the difference between me making a profit or me losing money for the weekend. So there's a lot there that goes into the schedule. It's probably the most nightmare portion of the job.
Yeah, I can imagine taking everything.
And we're being patient. We're trying to, let's face it. We've all heard the kid stories of it's coming, it's not coming, it is coming, and we're just praying that whoever ends up in there, that they reach out to us and works with us on schedule stuff, because again, there's only so many cars to go around. Banging on each other's head just doesn't make any sense. It's just not real smart business. So we'll do what we can. We know that we're going to have probably 12 points races. We know that that's going to consume 6 weekends for the bracket racing side for the points. We know we're going to have 2 big bracket races. That's 14 or 7 weekends, 8 weekends ish. And then after that, it's the 4 small tire events. So now you got 4 more Friday, Saturdays that are tied up. So a 28-week schedule starts getting full pretty quick.
Yeah. How many events did you have in 2023? Tell the people about that. How many times did you open the gate?
50 events.
I think we had 50 plus
days. It was 52 days. I think we were open this year versus 22 from the year before.
Scheduled.
Wow.
Yeah.
Scheduled events. So we more than doubled it. Plus we added some, and we're looking to do the same thing for next year. One thing that's going to help us is we're going to be able to hit the ground full speed versus last year. We tried to get opened up, and I'd only been in the state 3 weeks when we had our first event. So this year will be a little smoother transition there. And the other thing too is we got Midwest weather we got to deal with. So we can put it on the schedule and hope Mother Nature leaves us alone. We're going to start scheduling for March. Try to do a little testing in February. If the weather shows good, and that's the advantage of already being here and already being set up, is that we can, get out there on Wednesday and say, hey guys, there's going to be a test on Saturday, 10 to 4. It's $150. Weather looks great, and it's a radial deal. Let's go do it.
You bet.
Rod.
So
Hey, here's another thing I wanted to tell you real quick. So we got a comment here, a couple comments from, it came across as Facebook user, so I don't know their name, but just a little shout out here. It says, was very pleased to how full the program was from the first to the last small tire race of the year. There was very little to no oil downs or downtime between classes, with something always going down the track. That certainly keeps the spectators happy and returning to the race. And then another one that says, to all involved, to have a track close to home and the future plans being made to better the classes. Opportunity to open up to many folks. Come out and support MAD and all the classes. Come out on a weekend. There's just a bracket race. That program is huge to the community. So just giving that feedback there. I know you can't see them, but I just want to read them to you. So you're getting some love here on these comments. Just wanted you to know.
Absolutely. And we appreciate all of them. And the thing is we do, the run order is very important to how smooth an event runs. I know that we changed up a few things throughout the year, but I think every change we made, it got better. I don't feel like we changed anything and went backwards. Just a side note on the radial stuff. The motorcycles need to run on top of the glue. You guys need glue and tack, but you're needing more of a base. By letting the bikes run first, that allowed us to come back, do a little hand spray in the one little track, and then run the small tire cars. I think everything stayed good there. Running the big tire guys at the end of the rotation kind of softened up the starting line for them to get them a little more wheel speed. The one thing in the run order I did not like that we did last year, or this last year, sorry, to me it's last year because it's already done and I'm thinking about 24, but in 23, right. I think the 470 class was too close to the radial cars. We did that because we had a couple of guys that wanted to run 470 and big tire. I think next year it's going to be a pick one or the other, because what's going to happen is we had some guys in 470 shake the hell out of themselves because they just couldn't get enough wheel speed, and that's just because we didn't have enough cars go down the track to knock that edge off. But again, it's all about the run order, and the oil down stuff, that's on you guys. I can't take credit for no oil downs. That's just fantastic that guys are bringing good quality things to the racetrack. I think that the parts are better that we're buying. I think guys aren't pushing them to the limits that they were at one point, trying to go fast. I think there's other ways of going fast other than just spinning the hell out of the motor. So the oil down deal is definitely credit to the racers. So congrats. Thank you. And it's, we've got the equipment now. We've got the scrubber. We have the resources to fix the problems when they come up. But boy, is it sure nice to look over at that scrubber all weekend and see that soap in the jar in the top and know we ain't moved it and we ain't done anything with it. That's a good weekend right there.
You bet.
Got Chad Holden's attention. Chad Holden made a comment, maybe a no prep race next year, and that's been talked about. And you know where Chad is with that. He helps the Sandlin hot rod, and they are very good at that. So.
Yeah, and like I said, the no prep thing will happen. We're just going to have to. I told Nick and Nate and them when I get back from Cali here in a couple of weeks, we're definitely going to sit down and figure out, what we need to do. When my biggest problem is, I don't know when any of those big races are scheduled or any of that stuff. We definitely need a window there where we can, draw some crowd. And our big problem is we used to run into a lot. You put two races back to back, and the first race, everybody goes out and hurts everything, and they ain't got time to put everything back together for the next race. Sure. And so we got to make it make sense to where, it all works. And we are smart enough to realize that that's two different class of car. You're not going to do the no prep stuff and then turn around the next week and slap a pair of radials on and go radial racing. I mean, the amount of work to get a non-prepped car to a radial prepped car is a nightmare. I know that for a fact. It's a good solid 20, 25 hours worth of work just on the suspension side alone. So we know that we can get away with running a couple of those type of races back to back, but we want to make sure that they don't run back to back to somebody else's big event.
Yeah, no, that's good. And while you're answering that, getting a lot of chatter on the no prep. Logan Metcalf, Chad coming in again, Nick Roberts coming in again, and Chad.
Nick,
a lot of chatter on the no prep stuff. So Just so you
Well,
know.
that's good because I'm going to need this support, guys, because I'll be perfectly honest with you. That is outside my wheelhouse. I am the first guy to admit I would not know the first thing about it other than I'm the guy that will go out and scrape, and we will power wash, and then we'll take our scrubber and we'll clean it, and we'll have it as bare as we can have it, and we'll have all the debris off of it. And then after that, I'm not quite sure. I mean, they're going to have to, talk to me about how we're going to start it and all the different things. And, we're still going to try to abide by all of the rules that are in place, even though we're not exactly running clocks and that kind of fun stuff. But some of that's just going to be common sense stuff. We all know what needs to happen, and we're going to be fine with all that. So I love the no prep idea. It's definitely big in this area. So we want to, I hate to say it, we want to exploit it. We're a drag strip. We want to be able to bring people to the facility that want to use it and support it. And what we're hoping is that we can do 2 or 3 of these no preps. And then the guys, when they're not out no prep racing somewhere else, that maybe they'll come and support you guys when you're running your radial events. Because I know the radial guys are going to be there watching the no prep stuff. All we can hope is that the support goes the opposite direction.
Sure.
And
No,
there's
and
a-
I'm here to tell you right now, just if you put on a no prep race in the Midwest here at Arc City, and if that track doesn't break even or make money, I'll buy you dinner, Harper.
Oh, I guarantee you it will do well. I mean, hey, I'm not going to have $3,000 wrapped up in glue. I can tell you that right off the get go.
There you go. There you go.
I mean, it's, that part, and guys need to understand, I'm not complaining when I talk about, $3,000 for the glue. It's part of doing business. It's a cost associated with doing that type of racing, and I'm okay with it. But it is something that is exciting because if I can get the same kind of turnout as we did our last, heads up race, and not have $3,000 wrapped up in glue, we're going to do very well. I'm going to be looking at doing those a little more often. So
I would. It's safe to say there'll be a bigger turnout. Would be my guess.
I'm gonna guess too. I know that and what people that aren't really familiar with the facility need to understand that a back half race is just not feasible at our facility. The way the walls are and the way that things are set up and the way the insurance is set up, we're not there yet. I'm not saying we can't be. We had talked about, adding more lighting to the racetrack. And when we do, we're going to add some more poles. And when we do, we're going to put not guardrail, but K-wall in front of those poles to protect the driver from getting into those poles. And as we start doing more and more wall, we can probably someday look at doing some of that stuff where we would start at the 660 and race to the quarter mile mark and still have plenty of shutdown, still have plenty of lights. But this first go around, we're going to have to do the starting line because one, I need to be able to utilize the grandstands that we have. So we'll see how it goes. If everybody likes what we've got and they want to try to do something different, we'll constantly expand on it and we'll constantly make it better. I think every one of the radial races we did got better and better and better as the year went on. I think every time we open the gate, we strive to get better. Nobody's resting on anything here. It's always the next thing. I know that I get kind of, guys that don't really know me. I don't walk around with a smile on my face most of the time. I'm just thinking. I'm just constantly thinking, how can I make it better? How can I make the fan experience better? How can I make the cars go faster? How can I give them more racetrack? How can I? So I want everybody to know we have a great time when we're out there. I'm smiling on the inside, but sometimes not on the outside. But that doesn't mean I'm not approachable. And so I'm glad that we're getting the feedback that everybody wants to do the no prep stuff because, we were concerned. We were concerned whether, we know that kid could get away with it. They were closer to town. It was a normal thing there, and I just didn't know how much respect or response we would get out of the crowd if we talked about doing it down here. But if we can, I'm all in.
Yeah,
They'll come
No,
for sure.
great.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's a bunch of heavy hitter no prep guys in this area too, like in this Wichita area. In Kansas City, there's a bunch of guys up there, and I think it would be a hit for sure.
Oh yeah, if they'll drive 20 hours south,
Yes, go coast to coast with them things. Yeah, it'll work.
Well,
it'll be a
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And like I said, I'm excited because it's cars going fast. I mean, that's all I care about. Guys making hits, and people that racers when they are excited. Perfect example. Rodney goes 439 at the last race. He didn't even care whether he win, lose, or draw. At the end of the day, it's a win, and that's what we're excited because we get to be a part of that every time it happens. You guys individually have records and goals and things that you're trying to accomplish. I get to experience that every single racer. And as long as I keep turning out personal bests, it's a great place to be. So it's a great place to be the guy that's the one that's setting that up and allowing you guys to go out and do it.
Yeah. Hey, we got another question came in. Just talking about midnight drags. Any kind of midnight light prep, small tire stuff during the summer? That's a question.
Absolutely. We're not opposed to it. And that would be some of those Saturday night things that we had talked about.
And they got canceled this year because of other events.
Yeah, we had tried to put a couple of those on the schedule, and unfortunately, because other things started getting bumped around, we lost a few of those. But our plan is going to be to set some of those in place, especially after the additional lighting comes into play.
I understand. I'm not going to race at midnight after I just raced a bracket race all day.
Yeah, the other thing too is it's just got to be scheduled right. I've got some of the best employees around. My guys bust their tails to make sure that track is right every single time that we run on it. Doesn't matter if we're going radial racing or we're going bracket racing or what the deal is. But the problem is we've only got so many guys to play with. And so I can't have everybody out there at 10 o'clock in the morning for a bracket race and then run until 7 or 8 o'clock and then open the gates up again at 10 o'clock and say, okay, we're going to do midnight drag. So we definitely need to do some planning. We need to make sure that, those are the kinds of things that we're doing. We're very fortunate. We don't have a curfew at Mid America. We also don't want one. So we don't want to do that midnight thing every week, but a couple of times during the summer, absolutely fantastic. Great idea.
That's good.
Cool.
That's good.
Yep.
Again, and this is something that I heard from a track operator a lot of years ago, and that was you got to be in the money making business. Anything make a little money, put it in the bank, keep going to the next week. So anything that we can do that will positively impact our facility, that's what we want to do, and we want to facilitate that as often as we can. If we try something and it doesn't work, we're not necessarily going to abandon it, but we may look at going at it a little bit differently. If we do something that works right out of the gate, probably not going to change it a whole lot. Probably just going to keep inserting and going again because that's the smart way to do it.
Yep. And 37 people watching. If bring up some more questions and we'll throw them at Gary.
Yeah, and again, sorry guys that the all the video issues and stuff tonight. As crazy that we can be in the middle of, the primal, I'm 20 minutes from the beach, and you would think that cell service and things would be fantastic here, but obviously not. So we apologize for all that.
Right. Well, your audio is good, so
that's good, and we are here. My mother, who's been a big part of my racing career since day one, needed some help, and so we've come out here to offer her some help and get some things done for her. And she's never left California. She's been here her whole life, so we're trying to keep her here. So she was busy. She's a avid San Francisco 49er fan. I mean, this is the woman at 75 years old screams at the television at the top of her lungs on a regular basis. So when the game started, we headed to the beach because I was not going to be involved.
Goodbye.
Well, they had a good day, so hopefully she's having a good evening.
Yeah, she's in a pretty good mood. She's in there watching the Sunday night game. So she's already watched, I think, 3 football games today. So she's into football season. So
we gotta help.
Cool.
and so tomorrow the work starts. But yeah, anyway, we got any more questions?
Hey Rod.
Yeah.
I'm already looking up to April next year, and
Okay.
Harper says the first heads up race the first weekend of April, so that's April 6th. So when we're looking at going to Texas Radio Roundup, and we've heard it's going to move to the middle of April, that should line up okay, and we should be able to approve Harper's schedule for, for April 6th. So looks like you might be racing at Mad first before going to Texas.
There we go.
Well, and it's a lot of things too are going to help line up what we do, because I've got to get with Chad with the PMRA. That deal actually worked out very well for the racetrack side to get you guys in with the bikes. The bikes and the bike index deal works really well to go with the small tire and the car index stuff. So we'll be working with Chad. I've already reached out to him to get some dates. He's desperately trying to get into Tulsa to get an event there. But we'll look and see. Radio Roundup moved to mid-April. Huh? What was the deal there? Trying to get everybody into better weather or what?
There's from what we haven't heard officially, but kind of from behind the scenes from somebody else that had talked to the promoters of that deal. There's the Texas 2K, or it's moved out of Houston because that's gone, and it's going to be in Ennis. So there's some date situating going on there where the Radio Roundup is going to move down a few weeks. So
okay. Well,
the date hasn't been official, but we just got to roll with it and see.
Our stuff gets bumped around.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason why our stuff gets bumped around too, because let's face it, when you got a deal like the Radio Roundup, they're definitely a bigger fish in the sea. So, if I would have had mine the same weekend and they released theirs, I'd have to bump mine just because it just makes common sense. So we'll have to just keep our ear out. We're hoping that some of our other tracks will start getting stuff out. I know I've had phone calls from other tracks calling me going, hey, you got an idea on this, that, and the other. And I do absolutely. There's only a couple things right now that I have in absolute stone. One's my Labor Day race that I do every year, and that's Labor Day weekend. And then the Pontiac race, the nostalgia race, and then our ET finals deal. So that's pretty much the only ones that are.
And that's all end of season.
Also end of season stuff. So the March, April, May is pretty open. I've been trying to leave the first part of May available for Titans race. If we don't,
really hard for 3 years in a row, Matt has had to cancel.
Yeah, and 3 years in a row, the middle of May, we've gotten rained out every year. I don't know if anybody's known that, but basically like Mother's Day weekend and the following weekend have been rain for the last 3 years in Kansas. So we definitely, if anybody's got any ties to Mother Nature, can we tickle her a little bit or do something to make her feel better so I can have my May back? Because I like my May races.
Yeah, okay.
I'm gonna throw this up because I might be lost on what Nick's saying here, but Nick says this is Nick Roberts saying this, he's a no prep guy. Make it a points-based race. Nick, if you're still watching, is that what you're talking about, or did I miss something? I mean, I would assume Nick is talking about no prep. And then he's got another comment here.
Yeah, Nick also said maybe kick off the track opening with the no prep, since it's less tractor work to have to do to get ready, in that spring area.
Which is definitely what we were considering. I mean, we've already talked about that because I'm going to have to re-scrape. So we will scrape the whole 660 before we start the new year. We do every season. I had done it last year. I'm planning on doing it this year. So yeah, that's what we had talked about when I talked to Nate when he was there. Nate did a little testing a couple weeks ago. And when we talked to him, I said, hey, if this thing is fully scraped from wall to wall, 660 to the deal, and I said, that's what we want to do, that would be the ideal time. Now, when we did the no prep stuff up in Ottawa, we actually sprayed the racetrack from the finish line, from like the 660 mark, wherever the actual finish line was going to be. We sprayed the shutdown area just to keep guys that were already out of control a little bit of something to grab a hold of to get back in control,
Yeah.
and it didn't affect the racing surface, so to speak.
What they're
Yeah.
So
what they're talking about is no prep Friday and radio prep Saturday. I don't think they understand at
Yeah.
all what kind of work they're talking about.
yeah, and I seen what they're saying on the deal about a Friday race for no prep and then a Saturday race radial. I don't know if that leaves me enough time to put that combination together. We would have to see. I mean, I realize that the no prep guys are going to put a lot of rubber down, but I don't know if it's
Put down the
what
right base.
I don't know if it's what we're going to need for base, and I would hate to put those two together and then not be able to produce the radial track that everybody's used to. Plus, we know that the radial guys like to come and test Friday, but it could be as simple as we do some no prep practice runs on Friday night and then come back and do the race on Saturday night, and then the following week lead into a Friday night or a Friday afternoon into evening radial test, and then a Saturday night radial race. So that's kind of what my thought process would be on backing those two up together.
Okay.
Shane Marks saying
Nope.
using the same car.
No prep
They're
Friday and
really
radial
not.
Saturday, and wild man Shane Mock is using the same car. He would.
Well, you got to understand, Shane's somebody who's willing to put in the work, and that 20 hours that it takes, he's not afraid, and that's awesome. I'd love to see the same cars back and forth on the same deal. I just, as a chassis guy, I know for a fact what it takes, and it can be done. Just a lot of guys aren't willing to do the push-ups, because if they're mostly a no prep guy, you're talking about, taking a car that works good on a no prep surface and then setting it up for radial and then having to go back the other direction. It's one thing when you're a radial guy and you got to set it up one time for a no prep, and you're going to go back to a radial setup and then stay radial all year. I mean, it's just as much work. It's just what you're going to get to use it more often. So,
Hey, Shane Mock, we know you're watching. How many hours does it take you to change your car from one setup to the other? I know how long it takes. How long does it take?
I'm going to say 20 hours and a converter change.
I bet it don't take Shane that long. Tell us. Oh, 2 hours. There you go.
Well, he's been doing a lot then. I used to have different front struts, change front struts, change the 4-link, change rear shocks, converter change, all kinds of stuff to do both. So that's good. If you can make it all work in a short distance like that, that's awesome.
And here's Nick. He's a no prep guy. I don't radio, but I'd give it an honest go. It'd be cool to see you out, Nick.
Yeah.
More
Well,
cars.
Well, like I said, that's one of those deals where that's where the Friday night radial test would work, because you'd be able to get 5 or 6 pulls and know what you got to do to keep the front end down and what you got to do to get the separation that you need to make it work. So I'm all in. Let's get it going. All you guys that have been watching, appreciate you sticking around tonight. Go find me some money. I mean, I know it sounds like it's a broken record, but it truly takes money to make these series work, and we need it to make it work. Give us a call. And there's not a dollar amount. I mean, I've literally taken, $200 from somebody and we put it towards, doing buckets of stuff to do track repair. It doesn't necessarily have to be, a $5,000 marketing partnership. Those are great. And when they happen, we put you on a class, and you're the class sponsor all year long, and your name's on the trophy and your name's on the jacket at the end of the season. And those kinds of things go a long ways. And we're going to need a few of those. I mean, we're thinking we're going to need $20,000 to put this small tire deal together the way it needs to be done. So we know that there's some of your listeners are business owners, and they got some money they need to move around, and by all means, let's not give it to the government.
Get our personal business
And then,
taken care of,
so
we call 'em.
we will, when we get our stuff done,
Our personal business.
we're going to end up, we get back in country, so to speak, back in Kansas. We're going to be reaching out to those that have already helped us in the past and trying to get those marketing partnerships locked down for the next year, and see where we're at. But we definitely know that we got to get some help, and that's going to help us in the future.
Yep.
We understand that. So Gary, just kind of wrapping it up here. Been watching the comments and giving you that feedback. Just last minute, anything you want to say? The floor is yours, and then we'll wrap it up.
Well, I would just say that it sounds all positive, and that wasn't the case 7-8 months ago when we started this deal. There was a lot of anxiety from a lot of racers and not knowing where we were at and were we going to take care of. Everybody's always worried about their own group. The small tire guy's worried about his group, and the index guy's worried about his group, and the bracket racer's worried about his group, and the test and tune guy's worried about his group. And just understand that we know that we can't be everything to everybody every week when we're open, but we will do our best to make sure that everybody gets a little piece of it. And my job is to make sure that when we're getting a piece of it, that it's making sense, that it's financially viable, that it's working, and that it's the rules are followed, what's been laid out, and we do everything we can to protect the ownership and protect the fact that this is a racetrack and it is a business and it does need to stand on its own. It's done a lot better in the last, say, 2 months than it did in the prior 6 months, and that gives us a real positive go at it for next year. Gary and I are totally committed. I've told people before, I own a home here. I'm kind of tired of moving around. I'm getting old enough now that it isn't as fun, and I don't need any new projects. I just want to take and run with the one we got because I think we got a great base here. And it sounds like with this no prep stuff, we're going to have another group of guys that we're going to be able to work with and have a good time with and be a track for everybody in the Midwest.
Yep.
Oh, that's great
Agreed.
stuff. Great stuff. Just as you were saying that too, you had more comments coming in. Just, thank you for everything you've done this year. Thank you to the Maybars, thank you to the Harpers. I can echo that. I know Putnam can also echo that. And
Yep.
I know the No Prep guys are just loving this new action they could have down in Arc City. And I'm a fan of No Prep too. I would definitely come watch that.
Same.
Well, I'll be honest. There's not too many Mondays got by me with I didn't turn on and watch the guys out there, playing in Vegas or California or wherever they were at. I'm definitely a drag racing fan first and foremost. So we enjoy it, and we want to make sure that everybody gets a piece of the pie, so to speak.
You bet.
Yep.
All right. Putnam, do you have anything else?
I don't, man. Mr. Harper hit everything. He hit it out of the park. Lots of good info.
And it's live. It's raw. We had the little technical deal,
Yeah,
but we kept
that's all
driving.
right.
It's like race day. You have little issues. You work through it. It's no big deal.
Yep. Hopefully some people.
Well, at the end of the day, you finish the show with as many guys watching as you did when you started the show. We didn't do too bad. I figured they'd all bail out once it started having problems. So that just goes to show the dedication of the racer, and there's a lot of love and a lot of heart around here. And hell, we all got to put up with crappy weather, so we're obviously resilient. So it just goes to show that everybody's willing to stick it out, and that's what we need.
Yep.
Oh, that's great.
Very good.
All right. Well, you guys have a safe time the rest of the time you're there on vacation, and hope you make it back home safe and everything goes good for you there. Enjoy your vacation and the time.
Perfect.
Yes.
Okay, guys. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
Thank you for your time, Mr. and Mrs. Harper.
No problem.
All right. See you soon.
See ya.
Rodney. Are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Cool. That was really good.
Yeah.
Once some technical glitches got sorted out. Yeah.
All right. You want to wrap it up?
Lots of good info. Yes. And we can't announce anybody next because we don't have anybody lined up yet. So we'll get that figured out and let it roll off from there. So
yeah, we actually have 2 people we're looking at reaching out to, but we don't have any commitments. And so we didn't want to say that out loud before we talk to them. And if you know anything going on and people that are doing stuff, you kind of got it figured out. But Logan, we've already reached out to him. So
his time is coming and he knows when it is.
Yeah.
And he knows when it is, but we don't know exactly when that is. But
we've reached out to Brennan and Shane both, And
Yep.
so
That'll
we
happen
would
for sure.
have them on here. It's just a timing thing.
Yep. A special time. Nick.
No, Nick. No, I got, you got those little
Those
what do they
trays.
call those little trays in there. That's a funny one, Nick. I'm glad that you said that. No, we don't want to we don't get no oil in that baby.
To Jay-Z.
There you go.
We don't have anybody lined up yet, so we can't say we'll be back next week or 2 weeks. We have no idea. So we have the group page. We'll put the info out there when we get the mosquito. We get something sorted out with somebody, and so.
And just so you know too, Gary and I have talked about before, we're looking about bringing in some of those no prep guys and talking to them around this area, or even not. I mean, just like, so we're definitely supporting that as well. So
some more stuff, an alley that we don't know much about.
Sure.
Be some neat stuff to talk about and learn about.
Yeah.
A whole nother group of people to learn from.
Your LS would leak all over it. Yeah. I hear you, bud. No, it's good stuff. Thanks for joining, guys, too. 30, 40 people tonight. That's great.
Yep, pretty solid.
We appreciate all the questions and feedback. Thanks for hanging on when we were having that little technical issue. But as you can see, like, the Harpers are here. They're here to stay. They want to do good for the track. I'm glad they're here. I know Putnam's glad they're here. And I know everybody on here is glad that they came on. So this is all good stuff.
Yeah, and really glad that Chris Maybrier hired them, or the gates would probably stayed shut. I mean, that's what it came down to. So
yeah, I got another shout out here too. People are asking us to interview our crews, interview your crews. So
where are you seeing that at?
Right here.
Oh, on your phone.
Yeah.
Interview the crews, like our audio video crew.
I don't know. I seen that we had one of our special crew members in Texas Roadhouse. Did you see that earlier?
I saw that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We appreciate that. We hope that page is very helpful to promoting all racing, and that's what we're here to do. We're just trying to help the whole community, and that sort of thing. So I appreciate that.
Yeah. And people commenting here, we see it on the side here as, I can see Nick Roberts, Shane Mock, Logan, but some of these come in as Facebook user, and we need to figure out why their names aren't on there. I don't know if it's a privacy deal. Just another glitch to work through. We'll get it figured out.
Yeah.
It's like trying to add little features, all along.
Yeah.
And
we're dedicated. We like it.
And huge shout out to Tracy Lynn for the really cool intro video that she built. That's like a 38, 39 second, that intro with our cars and stuff. That turned out really cool, and big thanks to her for putting that together. She's very talented with that audio, video, wording, and that kind of stuff, and made it way better than a silly set of numbers counting down from 30. That deal was really cool.
Yeah.
And thank you to Tracy for putting that together.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of hard work there. Calls going back and forth. She did a stand-up job with that. And so we're just trying to build this up.
Yeah. She said they're posting as anonymous. That must be coming from the group page.
Yeah.
Oh, there, Tiffany. My wife says you guys should have your wives on here talking about our husbands as car racers. Tiffany, your husband doesn't do much car racing.
Ooh, yeah.
He's not very good at it. I don't know what you can
have Tiffany on the show. That'd be fantastic.
I'll just sit back in the corner. Boo.
Yeah.
But
She can her the bacon.
Her husband is not much of a car racer.
Oh. She's like, "Where's all the money? Where'd it go? Where's all the money?" Is that what's going on?
Yeah. Tracy Lynn says they'll start that podcast. There you go.
Oh, we will. You got that right. We'll have her wearing the skirt for too long. That's pretty funny right there.
The intro was solid. That's cool. That's
yes,
good.
It was.
Facebook user, whoever you are.
Yeah, he's saying he's not seeing a lot of the comments. I'm not sure.
Not seeing.
Yeah. They're not on your phone there coming up.
For some reason, I'm not saying, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, more little bugs to work through, I think.
Yeah.
Excellent job once again, gentlemen. Y'all nailed it, and love the audience participation tonight. Yeah, the comments and you know the feedback and comment stuff was really good.
Yeah, it was.
Facebook user
Really, really
Brian.
good.
This is Brian Wise. Get you better than Brian.
I
than that.
don't know.
He's
I've
hiding because
seen,
Troy is there. If you go
Yeah.
out of the live feed and come back, they show up.
here you go, Jerry. There's something right there.
I know where the money is. I
There
don't.
you
I don't have any.
Yeah, Troy said if you go out and come back in, you can the comments show up, so we can check that out. And then this is what Logan thinks I need right here.
Rod, you need a big block Chevy twin turbo. There you go.
Do you know one for sale? Is that right?
I've seen one for sale, and it's very local.
Yeah.
It's like right across town.
Yeah. Here's one for you, Gary, right there. That was a lot of your ideas, so that's great. Shout
Yeah,
out.
thanks for recognizing our vets. Shows true patriotism.
Yeah, that's
yes.
us. I got the flag up right behind me. Yeah.
Oh, mine's still outside. Speaking of that, mine's still outside.
Cool, cool.
Yeah.
Who's this person right here? They say this is Brian. Who is that?
Is that Brian
That
Walden?
Walden?
Brian.
Remember,
Oh,
did he
maybe it's
come-
Brian Walden.
Walden. He came over earlier today.
That's right.
So cool. All right,
Awesome.
Gary.
That was fun with Mr. Harper.
Yeah, it was real fun. And but just keep watching the page, the new page we made, and Brian Weiss. Okay, Brian Weiss. Yeah.
Yep.
And so we'll keep some more things coming to that and more updates. And we're going to do, car build updates, interview updates, just things that are going on this winter. And we'll just keep the cadence going and see what's going on there.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. I saw Mark there. Hot rod to start at the Mach 1 on the live feed. All right.
That's a great idea. I like that.
Yeah. That's
funny.
Cool. Do you have anything else, Gary?
I don't.
All right. Great job tonight.
Yep. Thanks to you and your time. And that was fun.
You bet.
And
got a lot of good comments, and Harper did a great job. We had a little, glitch with the, internet. I've been there myself, so I get it. And
blame it on California.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah. But we worked through it, and I think we nailed it.
For the most part, the audio was pretty solid.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Everybody have a good evening. We'll see you next time.
Yes, sir. We are out. Bam.